people on my right. Welcome to another so nourishing episode of the Hearty Conversation. I'm your host, Favor Rico, and I am truly glad you're here. Whether you're listening, watching, or reading from anywhere around the world, you're deeply welcome. And if this is your first visit, the Hearty Conversation is your safe space for real, faith-filled conversations about growth, purpose, healing, and becoming. We do this layer by layer, and I promise there is always something for your heart here. And to our returning listeners and readers, thank you for coming back. Your presence means more than you know. Today's conversation is one I've been especially excited about because we'll be having a conversation that sits right at the intersection of faith, confidence, modesty, and purpose. These are topics many Christian youth, women, boys, and girls are quietly navigating. So we're about to dive into it. But before then, my guest for today is somebody that's very beautiful and she's a powerhouse. Who's fondly known as the confidence coach, Oluwafunmibi Akingbehin. She's an educator, a certified communication coach, and an international student counselor. But beyond her credentials, Funmibi is that voice that walks and wakes courage in people. Through her brand, Speak Right Within, an organization, the Global School of Confidence, she's helping people across nations discover identity, find their voice, and show up with grace and strength. And I promise you, today's conversation will be rich, grounded in honesty, wisdom, and grace. So, with an ovation in your home, in your house, or wherever you're listening, can you please welcome my guest, Fumi B? Hi, Fumi. How are you doing today?
Hi, Favor. Good evening. I'm doing
Good
great. I'm
evening.
doing well. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Happy New Year. How
Happy
is
New
your
Year to you too.
2026?
Oh, I'm navigating 2026 by the strength and grace of God.
Glory, glory. So good to hear.
Glory.
I remember the first time I met Fumi. I'll just give you a backstory to it. I said, this lady is so beautiful. I knew Fumi from my friend Elizabeth because they attended same school. And sometimes when she share her experience, she's always talking about, oh, this powerful lady with her friends, Christian youth, admire them a lot. And I'm like, okay, okay. Up until we went for a conference. That was in 2024 or 2025. I think 24. So I was just there and I heard someone say, hi Favor. Then I turned, I say, I hope be this fine girl now who know me. And she was like, oh, for me, be okay. Then Elizabeth was not like, the lady you attended her voiceover classes. I said, wow. Mumbi is actually a powerhouse and she's great. She is beautiful. And knowing you, seeing you that day, knowing you, watching you. I've been learning a lot from you. Trust me, I've been learning a lot from you, and I celebrate. And it's really an honor having you on the Heart Conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. So, right about now, let's get right into the conversation. I know a lot of our listeners will be wondering, okay, modesty, confidence, and purpose, redefining beauty for Christians. What do you want to talk about? No, modesty is something that a lot of people take for granted these days. They just say the word, oh, modest girl. And then when you look at them, you're like, you're not even seeing a trace of modesty in what you're doing in your lifestyle. So we live in a culture that sees things like if you got it, flaunt it, or I dress for myself and nobody else. We hear this a lot. And then Gen Z came up with a lot of slangs, body tea, body matter, your body in a meat pie.
Yay.
I'm like, stop. But then, for many Christian women, modesty feels like a tug of war between faith, freedom, and self expression. So, for me, how do you explain that modesty isn't about hiding beauty, but about reviewing dignity and identity?
Thank you so much for that amazing and thoughtful question. Truly, we live in
You're
a
welcome.
time where what we used to consider abnormal is now glorified as normal and repackaged with high sounding vocabulary. So it's embraced by the general audience. So it's almost hard to fight against it because even the people that you look up to, the people that are expected to wage war against this, are celebrating it also. And I want you to know that this particular question, I would first approach it from the standpoint of spirituality, because the devil, which is the god of this world, is moving around trying to distract humans, trying to distract the people God has created from their identity, to help them forget who they are, because he knows that once you forget who you are, because we live on information, we live on knowledge, we live on knowledge. So once you forget,
Yeah.
once you cannot remember your identity, you do things anyhow. So in this generation we are in currently, a lot of people believe that once they don't expose their body, they have not, or they have not met up to the standard of the society.
Exactly.
So they do their best,
Exactly.
they strive. It's usually hard. They strive to make sure that their name is on the lip of everyone in the society, because yes, there's a way they dress. The people that do not conform to this lifestyle are often made to feel different, are even made to feel stupid, because you hear someone tell you, not be flesh, it's just flesh. Why don't you just expose it a little? And at a point, you start considering it too. Is it really flesh? But one thing I struggle to, and one thing these people say, or people often say, is that I dress for myself. I don't dress for people. And I struggle with the idea that we dress for ourselves. Because as humans,
Exactly.
everything we do has an audience. Even in marketing, you hear marketing coaches talk about audience, audience. Why do we talk about audience so much? Because everything we do in life, we do it for an audience. So it may not be intentional that you are doing something for an audience, but it's there. If you go out dressed in a certain way and nobody notices, nobody comments, nobody just tells you, or let me give you an example. If you plait a new hair, or you make a new hairstyle, and nobody just says, oh, this hairstyle is nice, you begin to reconsider, okay, maybe it's actually not that beautiful,
Maybe it's not
right?
saying.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes.
Maybe it's not saying.
So feedback matters to us in a way. So when someone says, I'm not exposing my body for anyone, we need to check. We need to be honest with ourselves. There is always an outcome we are aiming for. There's a reason you think, okay, my breast should be outside. There's a reason you think, I want this to accentuate my hips. Something you want to do. There's an audience. The funny thing is that the audience that I'm saying now might not even be the other gender, might even be your gender, but there's definitely an audience you're doing it for. And when the question shouldn't just be, when we think about things to wear, everything we do in our life, we should always think, not think beyond, is this allowed, to what is the end result of my choice. A person that is going to live intentionally, a person that's going to live a life as a leader, a person who's going to live a life that glorifies God, must move beyond what is good to what is godly. What does God really want from me? Right? And as a
Mm,
woman of
true.
God, yes, we must move from, is this allowed? Because first, it's not even about what the society would say, it's about what is God really saying. We often say that, why are they judging me? This it's we get defensive, but we are the same people that would judge a product that is not well packaged in the market. When someone delivers a package to us and it's terribly packaged, we condemn the seller. We even call the seller out. We criticize the seller. But we forget that in a way we present ourselves unpackaged. Because if you present yourself in a way that says something contrary to who you are on the inside, then you are giving people the liberty to judge you by what they see on the outside. So we judge things that we buy based on the outside look, which means appearance communicates something. And I say this because I gradually, day by day, God helps me to understand this. I didn't start out so smoothly, and I believe that there's grace for everybody, every lady that is listening right now, that we should daily check in. We are not just living. If you look at something, the people that are leaders, the people you admire, you say that you want to be a royal priest, you want to be a queen, you want to be regarded, addressed as a royal person, as an elegant person. The people
Yeah.
that live that lifestyle, you see that there's a way they carry themselves. Elegance has something to do with modesty. We have to be sincere. You can't see someone that is exposed. What comes to your mind first is not elegance. The adjective that comes to your mind first is not elegance. But when you see someone that is well dressed, in a way that the person can be presented before kings and queens, we always pray that, oh, let me be brought before kings and queens. I want to sit at the tables with queens and kings. But do we have the attire to feast with the king and queens? That's what we,
Mm.
if you are aiming, except you want to live you want to live a casual life, you just want to live anyhow, and you are not aiming to be at the top where people who are regarded stay or they live or they eat or feast, you must pay attention to how you live your life. Now, when I say this, I don't mean wearing flowing gowns, wearing puffed sleeves, because that's what people think about when we talk about modesty. No, I'm not talking about tying scarf till we almost
Yeah.
cannot see your ears. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I am saying
No
that.
wearing long
Yes,
skirts, no
exactly.
makeup.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Me, I wear trousers. I use makeup when I can. I wear jewelry, and this is something that I love to do. So I am not saying that that is the standard. There are many beautiful and modest fashion models, but it becomes extreme when what is meant to be covered is exposed. Why are we seeing your breast? You call it flesh, but when someone touches it, something happens to you. Yes, it sends shivers down your spine. It's worse because we don't even have solid representatives out there. Christians who are fashion designers are not helping matters. It's almost hard to see an Ashwebi outfit that is not revealing these days. And we need help. We need help. These days, I get to sketch my outfit. I have an event coming up, and I've been sketching and sketching and sketching. I pick the upper part here, I pick the down part here, and join everything together. You can imagine. Because everything is exposed and revealed. So people now, you wear outfits that you cannot wear to your workplace, to church, and you say that God only sees the heart. I am telling you, you are not, that is not God's love language. If you sincerely, in your devotion time, ask God, my dressing, does it glorify you? Our God is an amazing God. He would answer you. He would answer you. We are ambassadors of Christ, and we have a uniform which is modest wears. Well, there's a common argument in favor of immodesty. People say that people that dress, that expose their body, they are kinder than people that cover up their body. Yes, that might be true. I've met people that wear revealing clothes and they are really kind. Now imagine if you can add modesty to that kindness, it will be a plus. So I implore you, it is something you can grow into. It is something God can help you to do. If you know, please understand your identity. You are an ambassador of Christ and you can do better when it comes to dressing. Thank you so much for that question. I believe I answered your question.
Yes, thank you so much for maybe because this is such a beautiful perspective. You know, when you said so, a lot of us want to be in spaces where we can feast with king and queen, but then do you have the attire that fits for the occasion, or do you want to
Yes.
go before the king exposing your breast or sagging? Do you get?
Hey,
Oh, thank
right?
you so much. I actually love the fact that it's a modesty flown from identity. You
Yes,
have
it
to do
does.
things. Ask yourself, what is God saying concerning this thing? I'm somebody that, well, Once I dress, yeah, I can't go out with armless. I'm never comfortable with it. Do I have a very nice skin for it? Yes. Sometimes I hear people say, "Oh, you have a very nice skin. Why don't you wear this armless? Why are you wearing jackets? Why are you covering?" I'm like, come on. I know what's I know my identity. I know what I represent. I know what God is saying concerning me. So I can't do that. It's not a sin. Some
Mm,
people can do it, but for me, once you understand what God is saying about you, I think there are some certain things
mhm.
you know won't do. Thank you
Please
so much.
permit me
Thank you
to
so
say
much.
something. I just want to add something to balance
All
things.
right,
You
please.
mentioned that you don't wear sleeveless outfits. Now, that
Yes,
to
without
another
showing a
person might not
ticket.
be that to another person might not be something, might be modest,
E-
right? Yes.
Exactly.
So that is your own way. That's
It is
what
my
God has
own
given you.
conviction.
Yes,
And
exactly. Your conviction, what God has
exactly.
given you. Now, so that people would not say, so you are saying that sleeveless dresses are now not modest anymore. No, that's not it.
Thank
You know what we
you. That's not
mean.
what I'm saying.
You know parts that should not be, you know things that should not be worn. So that's what we're exactly saying. Not don't wear trousers. If you chew gum, you go to hell. If you wear trousers, you go to hell. No, that's not we are not we don't do that here. We don't do that here. Yes.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much,
Yes.
Fungi, for that. And I know you to be somebody who is not just modest in dressing. Listen to you talk. I've listened to you teach. You are also modest in your speech. You know, some persons talk about modesty and they just will I say confine the word to just dressing alone. But I feel modesty is beyond that. It has to do with speech too. So now in a world where language is loud and often reckless, how do we tend to sanitize our speech without sounding boring, without using the F word in this generation? If you want to talk, you hear teenagers, they are cursing.
Mm.
They are cursing. Yeah, they cannot say something without using F word, without using. Sometimes I think I'm guilty too. Sometimes, but I've been asking the Holy Spirit to work on me in that area. So, how do we sanitize our speech without sounding awkward or overly holy? Holy, holy. Before you talk now, then I say, why this one they do like holy, holy? Now you holy pass. So yeah.
Okay. I believe that there are two categories, or maybe three categories of people that are going to listen to this podcast. The first category is the category of people who are Christians. When I mean Christians, solid Christians, like people who
Yes.
already they understand their identity, they understand purpose. The second category is the category of people that they are eager, they are striving, they are working and walking towards that perfection. They are growing in God. So there are still some excesses.
Exactly.
And the third category is the category of me, I know Sendo, but I like listening to podcasts. So I'll try to speak to the three categories. So help me God. Now, this topic forces us to be honest with ourselves. Because in this generation, if you don't know what you stand for and who you serve, the world will make you look foolish for it. They will laugh at you. They will act like you're pretending. They will make you look ignorant for holding the values that you uphold. So we must first, maybe because as a confidence coach, I tend to talk about identity, healing, and all of these things. That is why I keep talking about identity. These things still boils down to the matter of identity. I remember when I used to be in a particular place, the conversations there were always very loose. And sometimes they would try to pull me in. I would just smile. Sometimes they would laugh and say things like, leave her, this one is still small girl. This one is acting only as if she does not know anything. And at first, I laughed. I
That
used to
Disney
laugh.
baby.
But over time, do you know what happened to me? Those conversations started questioning what I stood for. There were moments that I would try to prove myself. I would be like, maybe I should just show these people that not because I don't sabi these things, so I know them. It's not like I'm not familiar with what you're saying, but I choose not to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Mm.
wanted to tell them that I'm not naive. After all, knowledge is not the same as practice. I might not have practiced the many things you're talking about, but I read books, I watch movies, so what are you talking about? But I realized that something was happening to me. I was beginning to compromise. I was trying to, like a chameleon, I was trying to change myself to suit their color. A chameleon tries to change its color to look like yours, right? Now,
Exactly. Yeah.
before we talk about how to sanitize our speech, and this is to people that are solid Christians that already understand the identity, we have to ask ourselves why we are in the conversation to begin with. Is it our intention to truly connect and build others up, or we are just looking for social validation, or we are just joking around? If what we value, if you value what goes into our minds, I always say that we are like gardeners. We are the gatekeepers of our. It is what we allow into, because there's something in our brain called RAS. RAS is called reticular activation system. That RAS is what prioritizes what information we store. The RAS is what determines. For example, you've not been noticing a particular type of bag, but the moment you talk to your friend about it, you're seeing it everywhere. Do you understand? Now, that RAS is what that RAS is what determines, okay, we are filtering this speech. This thing is not getting into our mind. If you are not intentional about what goes in, your mind will be a dustbin, a waste bin. So, as someone who is living a life holy as unto God, we must understand that we must be anchored in the why of doing something, and the how becomes natural. We can't just wait for God to do everything. The Bible gives us a perfect filter in Philippians 4:8 says, think on these things that are pure, lovely, and of good report. If that conversation doesn't
Yeah.
fit that filter, it's our cue to redirect. Now, am I saying that we should not have conversations around sexual conversations? Now, let me talk about sexual conversation. Should we not have it at all? It is important that we have it because we have more Christians that are battling with this than unbelievers, because they do not have the information. So it is important, because some people enter into some things and it is as a result of lack of information in that area. But what happens is that we determine why we are having that conversation. Are we having it to heal, to learn, to gain clarity, or we are just joking about it? While learning, we must still be careful, because the devil tries to take every opportunity to exhort, to repeat pictures that are not nice in our minds. Then you get back home and the devil
Yeah.
replays it in 3D to you. Do you understand? So when people tell you
True.
that, yes, it is just talk, no, it is, things are not just talk to me. And that is why God helping me. I'm not saying this from a place of perfection. I'm saying this from a place of progression. God is helping me on a daily basis. There are still some things that I would say, not vulgar per se, because modesty goes beyond even the vulgar. And this is, it goes beyond what you, I might say some things and then God will say, what you just said has not edified me. Maybe you say something
Mm.
about what someone wore, and you know that that thing has damaged that person's esteem. That is still not modest. Sometimes modesty is in how much we talk. You can over talk, and then it's not modest. And the Holy Spirit tells you that, no, 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 this is not modest anymore. You don't jam talk. Do you understand? Now, the second category is to the category of people that are striving. Now, let me tell you, the Lord is helping you. The Lord is helping you. But while the Lord helps you, you are co-laborers in this work. We are co-laborers with God. You must also partner with God. Now, if God is helping you, you should not intentionally bring yourself. Now, there's a saying that person with ganga issue, no, they sell cutlass. Now, you cannot be someone that
That's
God is
true.
helping with sexual sins, this, and then you are the one that you collect chair and table. You now spread your legs in conversations that don't edify. I beg you in the name of the Lord, don't do that. It's not going to help. So God is helping you. And to the third category, let me tell you, even beyond, let me move away from um spirituality now. There is something about what we take in as humans that becomes the output we give out. You cannot take in something that is not edifying and expect to open your mouth to speak out what is edifying. It's you are feeding your mind on junks. So I'm just going to summarize it by saying that we sanitize our speech by being intentional, by asking, why am I entering this conversation? By letting our words be guided, by not being impulsive, by allowing the Holy Spirit to guard what we say. Not just what we say, but what we see, who we see it with, laugh with, and carry home in our minds. That way we stay relatable without being reckless. We are not trying to prove to people that we are not boring. We are presenting ourselves without being polluted. Thank you so much.
Wow. Do you know that they are speaking? I'm jotting things down because
Hey!
I'm very serious. The person is saying you can't take in what is not edifying to produce what is edifying. And there's
Exactly.
how you can talk. Once the person you are talking to is not being edified, conversation has not been had. Like, I don't know,
Mm,
modesty, you could
yes,
just go jam talk.
it's a
Oh
lot.
my God.
It's a lot
It's deep.
because
So
people
our
can you can
speech,
open your mouth and then people just know that you know the talents. A person can be an orator, and that oratory speech is for entertainment and not for transformation.
I
If
know,
if your
true.
talent is for entertainment, just to make people laugh and it's not transforming, then you are not making
Right.
impact. You are not.
Hmm.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I hope our listeners are jotting things down, and you can be an orator and you're not making impact. At least in your conversation, there should be edification. Life should be
Yes.
transformed. Thank you
Yes,
so
ma'am.
much. So let's talk about purpose, modesty, purpose around modesty, and the pressure that comes with it. You know, a lot. Um, do you believe your commitment to outward modesty has opened door into your purpose? That's the question. Or have there been moments where it felt like a barrier, especially in the secular spaces? I know you are a voiceover artist, a presenter, you attend a lot of conferences, and then do you feel like your modesty has opened doors for you? How do you navigate the tension that comes with it?
Honestly, it's the other way around. My purpose did not come out of my modesty. My modesty came out of my purpose.
Clock it.
Once
Let me drop
clock
that one
it.
down.
Once I became clearer about who I am and what I am called to do and the kind of life I want to live, my choices started arranging themselves. The way I speak, the way I dress, the way I carry myself, even how I show up online. And I forgot to mention that when I was talking about sanitizing our speech. Beyond sanitizing our speech, how we also show up online matters. We cannot say that we are living a modest life and then what we post says something contrary to the life we live. Because somehow putting
Yes,
that up there is saying that we are that kind of lifestyle. For example, you cannot say that you are a modest person, you're a modest influencer, a modesty influencer, or you live a modest lifestyle, and then you see a video. There are so many times I see some funny videos. It hurts me. I want to post it, but I realize that if I post it, it would speak contrary to the life that I live. So I cannot. There are some content that I would
exactly.
want to post, and some things were said, some words were used, and I know that it speaks contrary to the values I uphold. So I cannot do that. Now, when it comes to circular spaces, I'll be honest, I am naturally more introverted. I'm just learning. I'm an introvert trying to be an extrovert. Some people call me ambivert because I can be a selective extrovert. So I'm not always in
That makes good.
I'm not always in environments where what I wear is heavily scrutinized. I won't pretend that there has not been pressure and at all. I remember when I was in school fellowship, I attended a fellowship where there was a rule, tin rule, and I remember I lost a lot of friends. A lot of people stopped speaking to me because they were surprised that I moved from the girl who used to wear the latest wigs in her first year to the girl who started plaiting her natural hair, would not wear trousers, would not wear earrings, and all that. At that time, at that phase of my life, I needed to do that. That phase was the phase that built me, molded me, helped shape my life in a way. Now, when I moved, at a point, I felt like bending. I felt like doing compromising because whenever I go home, I see people that just pass comments about what I do and what I wear. So if someone asks me how to navigate that, I would say that first, make sure that you're dressing well. Make sure that you're dressing well beyond what I've been saying so far about identity. Identity is what keeps you, even in the days when they are saying, oh, this, because you know who you are. But beyond that, ensure that you are dressing well. Modesty does not mean looking careless or unintentional. You don't plait your hair for months. You wear You wear a shirt that is not ironed. You wear a skirt that is not, the slit has torn, and all that. People would not regard you that way. It's not even, that one is another problem on its own. Not dressing, dressing shabbily is another problem, because you cannot also sit with kings that way, right? So you know what to wear. Now,
Yes.
the thing is that we should know what to wear in every situation, so that the goal should be that even if your outfit isn't revealing, any reasonable person should be able to look at you and say that she's well dressed. So you can combine modesty with excellence, confidence, and good taste. Now, modesty did not birth my purpose. My purpose shaped my modesty. I believe the mission God has given me requires a certain standard. My dressing is a part of my personal brand and my testimony. If I want to lead and speak into people's lives, my outward appearance has to match the weight of the message I'm carrying. I stay consistent because I know eyes are on me. I know there are people looking up to me that are trying to figure out how to be fashionable and faithful. If I do anyhow, I compromise my standard, I affect God's message and assignment, and affect my influence. So I stand my ground. I stand my ground. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wow, deep, deep nugget. See, my purpose did not come out of my modesty. My modesty came out of my purpose, and that's actually deep. So you have to stand your ground. There are lots of people looking up to you, looking at you, trying to like emulate what you do.
Yes.
And sometimes I like to tell people that for as a Christian, you have a lot of generation attached to your purpose.
Yes.
So if you miss it, you are putting those lives in danger. Oh, thank you so much, Wendy. So I know a lot of women listening, or a lot of people listening, they are quietly asking, if I stay true to myself, will I be seen? Will I still be chosen? Which brings me to beauty and confidence. As a confidence coach, this is something many women are silently in a generation where many people struggle with image and self-esteem, leading to extreme measures like cosmetic procedure. You hear people going for BBL, facelifting, and stuff like that. So, what will you say through beauty and confidence? And how can someone learn to protect themselves without compromising?
Thank you. I am going to be as real as possible because this question is personal for me. When I was a teenager, someone looked at me and said my body was shaped like a trunk. I didn't even know what that meant. I had to go and because at that point in my life, I was ingesting dictionary. I was really reading the dictionary. So the first thing I did was to go and look at the dictionary. If I had known, I should not have done that. So I learned. What did you say?
I said you would have just stayed without
Exactly.
checking it
At
out.
least I would not have had that information. But no, I was curious. And you know what they say
Yeah.
about curiosity? Curiosity kills the cat. Just that it did not kill me. I'm still here. That shaped in my adolescent way brain. That one word became a lens through which I saw every mirror reflection. I began to notice my upper body and hips had the same measurement, and suddenly I was in a comparison trap with every classmate. I saw other people and I was like, oh no, I don't have those features. You know, our brains are hardwired to rank ourselves within a hierarchy, and that is why when we perceive ourselves as lesser than other people, our brain processes it similarly to physical loss. Then we begin to find something to replace that loss in our body. As a confidence coach, I now know that our self-image is often just a collection of information labels given to us by others. The same way our parents told us that, oh, Favor is your name, Fumibi is your name. We wouldn't have known if nobody had told
Yes.
us our names. We thrive on information.
Exactly.
If nobody had told you that your nose looks a particular way, you'd never have noticed. Never have even thought about it. Do you understand? So the that is the reason, because it's like physical loss. That is why it feels devastating. That's why people strive to find replacement. And this is a topic I talk about with a lot of caution, because if we are not careful, in the next 5 years, we see more people who have altered their bodies surgically than those who haven't.
Mm,
It is like it's like a
yeah.
pandemic. Everybody is doing this,
I think we're
doing
having
this,
a
this, this.
pandemic
And now
now.
I will not be surprised if that word is even being taught in schools, because it's almost like those words are everywhere. Everybody knows the meaning of lipo, everybody knows the meaning of BBL now. Why? So
Yeah.
somehow it is
Facelifting.
shaping,
Nose.
you get it. Somehow it is shaping the mindset of the people that are coming, the generation coming. They feel like, oh, it is normal,
Yeah.
because nobody is telling them that there was a time we didn't used to do this. There was a time everybody was just okay with having flat nose. We were okay with having small head and all that. Do you understand? So and one major reason this is being glorified is influence. Influence is powerful. It shapes what people normalize without even saying it directly. And that's why I don't believe Christians should avoid that's why I don't believe Christians should avoid influence. Influence itself is not the problem. Influence that is not submitted to God is the problem. The loudest voices today are shaping standards of beauty for young girls who are still figuring out who they are. We are in a generation of teenagers who know the names of their celebrities but do not know their own identity. They almost know their celebrities more than the way they know themselves. So someone they admire
True.
comes online and
Mm.
talks about body positivity, body goals,
Body.
breath, and the person says, I've just gone to do this. And they just feel like, okay, if this person can do this, because sometimes these people actually give out information that help, but along the line, they just divert. And they just feel like if this person has been doing this to me, giving me this kind of information, then this person can also, I can also take this. So one thing is that humans are insatiable. Human wants and needs are insatiable. Economists said that, and it is true. We are never
True.
satisfied. We always want more. Like, is it I've forgotten this. So we always want more. Now it doesn't stop at one procedure. It's one thing today, another thing tomorrow. I remember hearing someone say she wanted to go for Christian BBL, and honestly, I paused.
Look at me now.
I
What
laughed.
is Christian BBL? How did they come up with these things? So
You
I used
are
to say you will have
romanticizing
Christian
and
BBL.
baptizing a lot of things with high sounding vocabulary. God
Yes,
help us.
Christian BBL in
Every
this
day we are coming
generation.
up with new things.
New things, new
That's the thing.
slangs.
I see the never enough cycle. In psychology, is the hedonic treadmill. You achieve the physical change, but your happiness still remains the same. You will experience mirror shock, but because when you stand in the front of the mirror, you like what you see, but something on the inside of you tells you that this is not who you really are. That you did something. You cannot boldly tell people that okay, this is my natural body. So you feel like an imposter because your reflection does not match the internal map of yourself. There's no amount of surgery that can grant you true confidence. And that is why you see people going back to it because something has happened.
Yeah,
Do you understand? So I had
true,
to start telling
true.
myself that my worth is tied to my purpose and the identity God gave me, not the measurement of my hips. And before anyone says, you are saying this for me because you're beautiful, because Favor already said, oh, Fumi," and I was just here like, oh God, Fumi is beautiful.
She's so
Yeah.
beautiful. She's so
Yeah,
beautiful.
they might be thinking that it's because of that. There was a time that I didn't think I was beautiful. And one thing that held me through that phase was that I knew my identity in God, right?
Mhm.
Didn't think anybody
Yeah,
would find me attractive, to be very sincere. So there is a work surgery cannot do. You can enhance the body, but it doesn't heal you on the inside. And many people who have gone through multiple procedures will tell you this if they are being honest. There's still this restlessness. There's a lack of peace, and there's always another thing to fix. So what should you do? If it's about your body, understand your body type. What are the things you should wear? Do you understand? Don't alter your body. Just try to find a way that you can present yourself, even with that, in a beautiful and confident way. But first, let your healing happen on the inside. And that is what I always preach as a confidence coach.
thank you. First, let your healing happen on the inside. There's no amount of BBL, no amount of facelifting that can heal you.
Right?
Never. So, and then another thing he said is influence that is not submitted to God is the problem.
Yes,
And that is what a lot of people are having in this generation. There is so much truth in what you just shared for me, babe, trust me. And then when you try to compare, when you start comparing yourself with people, that comparison alone will not just steal your confidence, it also steal your peace.
exactly.
And when peace is gone, that's when people start, okay, I need to do this, I need to do this to feel okay again. And then you start hearing, oh, let me go for this surgery. Christian BBA, Muslim, come on now.
Traditional BBL.
Traditional BBA. But you can't carry fix insecurity. That's
Exactly.
something people do. True confidence lives in knowing who you are in Christ, and that's fine. Thank you so much for me. God bless you for this revelation and this section. And that will lead me to the Global School of Confidence, which is such a powerful initiative. So, how did that vision come to life? Was it bettered from a defining light bulb moment or from your own journey of struggling with feeling like you were not enough? Just tell us the story.
The Global School of Confidence. If
Yeah,
someone had
CEO extraordinary.
if someone had asked
Celebrate.
this question maybe this time last year, I would have said, what's that one? I do even know that something like that would be happening. See, the Global School of
Okay.
Confidence was birthed from my own experience, my struggles, from living in fear for years. And when I say fear, I'm not just talking about fear of speaking that we call glossophobia. I'm talking about fear. So much that someone told me one day, this fear is not ordinary. This fear is generational and it is spiritual. Why do you get scared so much? So for me, it was fear in many areas of my life. I would have palpitations. I would I would have suicidal thoughts. I would have suicidal thoughts. I would I would overthink. I would condemn myself internally. I had talents. I have talents, not had now. People see. It's more like people can see, but you cannot see. I have talent, but I didn't see it. I didn't see the potential. What made it even more confusing was that on the outside, things looked fine. And that is why when I see someone that acts strong on the outside, when I see someone that acts like nothing, all those people that always use those quotes, if you don't give me, I don't give it, this, all those things we were talking about earlier that you just post for her. So now, when you check deep down, yes, they are trying to cover up something, is a facade. For I am not the emotional. You hardly see me cry. Even the movies that
So you're not on our WhatsApp group, the crybabies.
you would hardly
You're
see me
not
cry.
there.
Even
Oh,
my family members can say that they've hardly seen me cry. At a point, my sister had to say that, are you numb? Because someone would tell you something that should make you scream, and I just like, okay, this. So it was hard for people to know that I was going through something like that. Thought that things that's why when my siblings hear me talk about fear now and say that I went through this, it's just like you were the most brilliant person. You that used to speak English anyhow. They didn't know the battles on the inside, right? Because I was very brilliant. Got promoted many times in school and everything. So people saw the potential. I didn't. I looked down on myself. I didn't think I was beautiful. I didn't think I was enough. At some point, I even started believing that wherever I went, I brought bad luck. Even in the university, when I joined a group or participated in an activity, I would think these people will fail because I am here. So it was a battlefield of the mind. But before then, while going through all of this, I remember before I went for NYSC, God would just give me hints and tell me that He would. I remember that I would have sensation on my palm, and then God would say that I would use you to heal people, and I just like me, hey God, Jay, they why me? Jay, you understand? So
I
God
get
was
it.
prompting me that He would use me to heal people. So I didn't think much of it. And when God started telling me about confidence, even as an English coach, I felt like, how would you use someone that went through all of this to preach the same thing? So it felt like God transformed my mess into a message, right? So
Mm,
there was a
yeah.
particular season in my life where God dragged me out of that place. That is why I say that this fear is not paperwork. It is a spirit. So the spirit of fear literally left me. So he called me into the ministry of healing, and the actual idea of the Global School of Confidence came on the 13th of December 2024. I remember I was at my mentor's program, and God was direct with me. He even showed me the logo and everything and what he's going to do. And that's why the Global School of Confidence is a ministry and not a money making brand, right? So everything we teach, from teaching confidence, audacity, healing, purpose, and identity, is personal and it is rooted in Christ. So I talk about it because I once lacked it, and I help people are going through it to find healing in areas God has helped me. So the Global School of Confidence is not a public speaking school. It's a faith-centered school. It's a clinic where people come and they are
Mhm.
diagnosed and
Wow, that's actually beautiful. That's beautiful. I celebrate you and thank you for keying into that vision because I know a lot of lives will be transformed and changed by this initiative. God bless you. So then when you were speaking, you said something about being intelligent and that I did not doubt. I know I've seen you, I've read your work, I know how these things work. So, for me, B, can you take us into a very personal chapter of your life? I remember Elizabeth sharing this part to me when she was talking about, oh, she really admired you a lot. She learned of you, even though you had little setback. So, I want you to talk about that journey in school, the dark moment, extra year moment. This is something where a lot of persons often see as a badge of shame, mostly in this our Nigeria. Can even There's how you can have extra years, you don't know anything. So can you take us into that moment you found out? What was the first thing you said to God? Crazy. When I found out, I was very angry and I had a lot of questions and stuff. Knowing the kind of person you were in school, your department, being in church, being a church leader, and all those kind of things. So while you're meant to be graduating and posting online, how did you guard your confidence? Because me, I shrink. Oh. I did not have extra year. When I saw my CGP, that was what I was expecting. And I felt so bad because people know me. They were expecting a lot from me. They were expecting much more. So I felt bad. Did you ever feel like God had failed you? Just take us through that journey.
did I ever feel like God had failed me? I did. I did. The only thing I don't do was to curse. I don't curse God. When I tell people that I did not graduate with a first class, they're always shocked. I go for that to say that I did not graduate with a second class upper either. I'm more shocked because how now you when I now tell them that I actually had an extra year in school, they just go like, okay, Hoya Kukuma kill me. Do you
Hmm,
understand?
I
Yes,
imagine.
because they cannot
Yeah.
can
Most of the people feel like
yes.
oh, that kind of
They
thing.
cannot connect
I get it.
that testimony to the person I am now. And that is one thing God does with us. Our present does not look like our past. Do you get it? So much that people cannot trace your present to what you went through in the past. So it's an area of my life that I rarely share because it took me a lot of time to process the weight of it. In my third year, I discovered that I had failed a 2-unit course. Ironically, that course was my favorite subject. One of my favorite subjects. Smart girl who taught people tutorials and carried everyone's expectations like, first class, first class. It was a crisis of identity. My first words to God were a desperate cry for miracle. God, if
Yeah.
yes. And God answered me with a promise. He said, what you fear will not happen. I kept the secret to myself. I didn't tell my parents. I didn't tell anybody because I felt like even my parents would be disappointed. Everyone thought I was going to come back home with the first class. I was supposed to study law. So the agreement was that study English education and do well in it. But I was coming home with something less than what they expected. So I could not tell them. Then I took up a job. Hey, I was teaching in 9 schools. Altogether, guess how much they were paying me?
Nine schools.
9 schools. I would teach in two
Whoa.
every day. I would go from primary school to secondary school in those 2 schools. So I was getting paid 20,000 naira just because I wanted to I wanted to get my
It's
school fees.
cool.
But one day I told myself, my case was like
Yes.
this case of the prodigal son. I told myself, I have parents. Like, how can I be going through this? I just called them. And the first thing they said was, okay, so you think that decides or determines who you are? I beg, we are going to send your tuition. I bless God for the people I have, my family. They are supportive and they have never made me feel less of myself. So, but the thing was that I saw people that I taught because I used to do tutorials. One thing I don't do is that I don't teach in exam halls. But before we enter the exam hall, I would teach my colleagues, my friends. And one of the things is that what I teach them usually come out in the exam hall. They will see it in the on the paper. So it was funny. Are you still in school while we are graduating? What was worse was that people that I refused to teach in class were now taunting me like, so you self go join us, stay back for school. You know how it's even better if
I
my friends say that I see that one did not pay me. But what hurt me the most was people that already had me in mind now saying that, so last we go gather day here. Do you understand? It felt like God had
I
betrayed
can
me. I was an executive in the fellowship, which means I would be going back to 200 level to write an exam with people that are most likely not mentoring per se, but people that look up to me in that same fellowship. You see how bad that is? So, one thing, when God told me that what you fear will not happen, I held on to it. I held on to it. So, I thought that what he meant was that a miracle will happen. But did the miracle happen? Yes. But did the miracle benefit me? No. Because I paid my tuition a day before, and something that my school had never done was done the following day, which was waiving the cost for people. And I had already paid my tuition, which means that the tuition is non-refundable. I had to stay. So I stayed an extra
devour.
year. I had to write the exam. So I thought, okay, maybe the promise of God is that I would automatically have a first class or a very strong second class upper. I wrote my exams, had A's because I had to write six. That same course that held me back, I saw F again. And for another year, I had to go back and forth to school to sort it. Apparently, my script was somewhere in the lecturer's office and I had 75A. After I sorted that, I got my certificate, and guess what? It was second class lower. Lower, my dear sister. And I said to God, God, is this the thing you
Yes.
promised me? I cried so much that day. I cried terribly. Now, when I thought that what God said, this is what He taught me, what you fear would not happen, I thought I was using my human brain. But what God actually was teaching me then was that I would make your path, your future not non-retraceable, or it should not be traceable to your past, in a way that I would elevate you and give you a decorated life that it would not look like you ever had a kind of degree like that. So
And we actually saying it.
yes. So God has helped me. Through the job He first gave me after I left school, my NYC year, which is a pivotal part of my life. God really has fulfilled that promise and is still fulfilling.
Glory to Jesus. No, that's actually one deep story that I can slightly relate to. So, for someone currently experiencing academic delay or any form of delay, maybe delay in getting admission, delay in graduating, and stuff like that, how can they stop seeing themselves as a failure and begin to see themselves as a work in progress in God's hand?
Well, what they should say, what's in the hands of God, delay is really about denial. In the hands of God, delay is really about denial and it's about development. We should think about delay as a divine strategic pause. It's like a labor room where the character required for our future is being birthed. In my own journey, the year of delay was the very thing that taught me the grit, the teaching skills, the resilience I use today to lead thousands. I think if I don't know, maybe if I had graduated on time, I might have been successful, but I wouldn't have been seasoned. So you have to tell yourself a different truth that the potter has not stopped working just because the clay is the because the clay is still on the wheel. In fact, the longer the potter spends on a vessel, the more intricate and valuable that vessel becomes. Use the power of yet to rewire. Instead of saying, I've not done this, say, I have not done this yet. I love that word. When people tell me, I thought you've left this country, I would say that, at least not yet. Okay? So it means, and there's another
Yes.
thing I picked up
Yes.
from someone recently. My millions are near. I am a millionaire. Do you understand? So that yet and that near, it gives you. Uh, So it is a shift from shame to peace. It makes you understand the process of waiting. So what you should do in the process of waiting is ask yourself, what am I being prepared for? And this cuts across every area of our lives. Waiting for a man, for that man, waiting for that relationship to work out. What is God teaching me? How do I make sure that I'm waiting and not wasting? Okay, so we should We should let our worth be anchored in the fact that God's clock is not synchronized with the world calendar. While our peers are moving horizontally across a state to collect a certificate, God may be moving you vertically into a deeper level of maturity. So trust the process, trust God. Because when He finally settles you, the testimony of your delay will be the very thing you use to teach others and give them hope to keep going.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The power of yet. I'm not a billionaire now, yet.
My billions are
I'm not a
near.
billionaire. My billions are there. Do you get it? Yeah. So the fact that it's not happening now doesn't mean that it will not happen.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. Just learn what God is trying to teach you in in your waiting process. Is something He's trying to prepare you for. There's something He's teaching you. So do not miss it.
Yes.
That's just it. Thank you so much. So before we wrap this up, or as we wrap this up, this is my final question to you. If you could leave one message from your heart to us, to your listeners, to the young Christians struggling to balance faith, confidence, modesty, and ambition, what will you tell them to do?
I would I've come to understand that the reason many of us, whether Christian, women or men, are going through certain dealings right now is because God is forging a kind of character that can stand the storms of influence. God does not want you to get to that place and disgrace Him. So, because the higher you rise, the louder you fall. Exactly. Yes. So, influence has a way of lifting you into spaces where, if you're not careful, you almost forget the one who took you there. So God takes time to us to deal with pride and teach us humility, to ground us so deeply in purpose that when influence comes, the world will not talk us out of who we are. And this is not theory for me. I have had opportunity to listen to my mentor, DDK. She has shared how she has found herself in rooms where policies are being made, where decisions are influenced by powerful people, cows, decision makers of this world, rooms where billions of naira are involved. Billions of naira. So, in those moments, she had to make a choice between what was convenient and what would bring glory to God. So, this is not something we should trivialize. It is not something that can just be fixed by do this, do that. It's a real test of faith. So, one thing we should picture is that we are ambassadors. We are ambassadors of Christ. And if an ambassador travels outside the country for an international meeting, maybe a UN meeting where ambassadors from different countries are gathered, there's always a space allocated to each nation. You see the tags there. Now, imagine the Nigerian ambassador is asked, which nation are you representing? He will not say that I am from United States when he's clearly representing Nigeria because he understands his identity. So, at this core is the first question is the question of identity. When you know who you represent, you know how to behave. So, I'm going to say to someone struggling with that, first, go back to God, the author. It is quite hard. It is quite hard. I'm going to say this. I'm not going to speak as someone that has had it smoothly or is having it smoothly. There are days that I go back to God and I just ask Him, can this cup pass over me? Can I just live a normal life without purpose, without anything? But one thing is that He will not leave you. He's not an irresponsible Father. He will not leave you without being taken care of. He's not only concerned about you speaking in tongues and reading the Bible, He's also concerned about other areas of your life. So ask Him to bring to you comrades that can hold you, uphold you, people that have like minds, right? These are people that will keep you, uphold you in the days when you want to
Unity.
fall. Yes, yes. So if you surround yourself with people that look like you, that are also pursuing the same thing you're pursuing, it will be much more easier than doing it in isolation. So I trust that the Lord will help you, will uphold you. The one who has sent you will not leave you. You will not stumble. The Lord will uphold you. He will give you strength. He will give you grace. He will give you grit. In the name of the Lord.
Amen. Oh my God. Thank you so much. What a powerful, heart stirring, rich, insightful, and deep conversation just had, man. Thank you so much, Phoebe. Thank you
Thank
so much for your
you.
honesty. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for the wisdom. Thank you for the nugget. I say my book is filled up. I've been jotting things down, and I also celebrate your courage. I celebrate who you are and what you represent. Thank you so much for choosing to do this with us. And I pray that every step you take is guided and that your voice continues to go such hearts you may never meet. You will meet the ones you are yet to meet. Sir,
Amen.
you remain anchored and fruitful in every season you enter,
Amen.
and that's the life you're called to find healing,
Amen.
to find clarity,
Amen.
more confidence.
Amen.
So much. Thank you so much.
Permit me to say
Thank you so
thank
much
you to
for
the
being
people
here.
of Favor's life. Okay, you call them people of your life. Now I'm saying that people
Oh,
of
yes, so people of my
people of
life.
Favor's life. Thank you for listening to us. I hope that you've picked one or two things. God bless you.
Thank you so much. And also, please share in the comment section what stood out for you. Also, try to share, like, comment, share, subscribe if you've not. When I say season two, it is that season that you don't want to miss. Our guests, you can feel it. So please subscribe. Tell us what stood out for you, and also celebrate our guests in the comment section. So subscribe, follow her up on our social, speaking with she's a diction coach, she's a voiceover artist. Give her gig. She's good. You can hear her now. She was giving us English. So thank you so much for joining. This is the Hearty Conversation where stories are told with truth and hearts are reminded that they are not it. So, dearest people of my life, until next time, stay anchored, stay radiant, and keep evolving. The goal is simple: to edify, to inspire, and to remind you that you're not alone in your work with God. Listen to the Hearty Conversation on Substack under My Heart to You. Subscribe to My Heart to You so you do not miss an episode. I'm your favorite girl, Favor Roberts, and welcome to the Hearty Conversation.